Bridges. Alongside me again this evening are my compadres, my partners in crime, Mr. Sigmund Sanders to my left and Mr. Sean Reed to my right. We also have a special guest on the show tonight, Mr. Ice B is in the house.
It's true.
He's
Ice B.
My bad. Let me get in my sports talk. What's going on, y'all, man? We are definitely in the building. Lost. I'm just happy to be here.
Yes, yes, yes. And again, to the Lost Crew, hey, we're the legends of sports talk. Over 30 years of playing, watching, and talking sports together. Now we're here, bringing it to you, the people, with the love and support of my boy himself, Mr. Stu, here at Stu Radio, Mike Kelly for getting us in. And again, our special guest tonight here, sitting to my left, Mr. Ice B in the house. Hey, fellas, we're going to get right to it, man, and we're going to jump right into the NBA. It's been a very, 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 very hot topic these last couple of weeks with free agencies. We had our commitments that we could start committing to teams on back in July, on July 1st. And actually July 9th was the actual signing day. It's been some jumping scenarios and topics around the league.
Yeah.
And we're gonna first start out with one of our own here in the area, the DeAndre Jordan saga. I know everybody is anxious and biting at the bits to chime in on that itself. I'm gonna get right to it, guys.
Hold on. Do we need to have Big Stu on the gunshots?
Hey, the gunshots. No, we're gonna hold the gunshots for a minute. We'll hold the gunshots for a
Okay,
minute.
all right.
But it's finna get good in here. It's finna get good in here. But we're gonna jump right to it. Now, obviously, sitting here on the panel, most of our guys here are Maverick fans. For a minute there, we were thinking with all the free agencies, LaMarcus Aldridge and those guys going, all the bigger names going elsewhere, the Mavericks didn't really have a backup plan other than the fact that they were going to go after Mr. DJ himself from the Clippers, DeAndre Jordan. With that being said, DeAndre commits to the Mavericks after the deadline of July 1st. And right of the last hour before the actual signing time back on July 9th, DeAndre pulls out on the Mavs and says he's re-signing with his team, the LA Clippers. Now, keep in mind, the Mavericks, all their other backup plans kind of just vamped because DJ was coming to Dallas for a week. Anyways, he was headed to Big D. Obviously, being a Texas boy, going to college, playing for the Texas A&M Aggies, we just knew here in Dallas, DJ was on his way, and then booyah, that last hour before the signing deadline pops up on the July 9th. He opts out of the Mavericks and says he's re-signing with the Clippers. Reed, there's a lot of things I want to say about this, but I'm gonna keep this kind of to all of us. I want to hear everybody's take on this particular subject, and I'm gonna come at you first, Reed. We got DeAndre Jordan commits to the Mavericks, then opts out last minute. What is your take on DeAndre Jordan and what actually wound up happening in that scenario?
Jack B, my partner, there's a bitter taste in my mouth about this. As you stated in our opening, over 30 years of sports talk. You know, I'm not even really a Maverick fan per se.
Right.
I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, born and raised, but I've been living in Dallas, Texas since 1985. So I'm a proud Texan. What DeAndre Jordan did was disrespectful to our city, to our Texas dude. On top of that, it was disrespectful. The way he played it out, the way it was handled. I'm going to say it like this. LeBron James left his own city, and when he had his little Decision TV show with Jim Gray interviewing him, he verbally committed to the Miami Heat. He still hadn't officially signed the contract. But even with all the hate, people burning his jersey on the streets of Cleveland, LeBron James still owned up to his word and played with the Miami Heat for the terms of his contract. DeAndre Jordan, it's actually the opposite of LeBron. Not quite because you're not from Dallas, but it'd be like him verbally committing to the Houston Rockets. Verbally committing. You still ain't signed a contract. And then you change your mind at the last minute. You got Mark Cuban that you're not responding to. Your so-called boy, Chandler Parsons, you're not returning his texts or calls. But Chandler Parsons put him on blast. Chandler Parsons said, you know what? I'm disappointed. I'm hurt. And what I've learned is he's not ready to be the man. He was too scared. I think those are the words Parsons used. He's too scared to be the man.
He did in fact use those words. And I'm with you on that. I believe some of that had to do with the fact of when DeAndre made his decision. I just think I had mentioned it to Sigmund earlier that I think a lot of it had to do with his age. The guy's just young, and I just think he had a lot of people in his ears. Man, he had you got one organization tugging him one way, you got one organization tugging him the other way. His agent, obviously, come to find out, his agent is the guy who actually made the deal initially anyways. DeAndre never came out basically and said he was committing to Dallas. From my understanding, his agent is the guy who actually made that deal. So I can't really go too deep in on DeAndre. I'm just a little frustrated as a Maverick fan myself that it ended up the way it did, because I just felt like he kind of stiffed us. But in a sense, Reed, if you look back at it, I mean, people is making this a really, really, really huge deal, and I might even make some people upset by making this comment, but they making this a really, really, really huge deal when in fact these owners been doing this since the beginning of time, man. They've been looking at these guys straight in their face, like we sitting here at this panel now, saying, "Hey, I'm not going to trade you.
Great point.
You have nothing to worry about. I'm not going to trade you." They've been doing, and they don't give a damn what you say, what he say, it doesn't matter. They've been doing this since the beginning of time. And for DeAndre to do what he did, I just, I guess kind of look at it, you got a player that pulled out, but overall I think it hurts the Mavericks, but I'm not going to drive him into the ground too much on that. And before I go to Sigmund, Reed, I want finish up, because I know I interrupted you a little bit on that.
I'll say this. For DeAndre Jordan personally, the last 2 weeks we've talked about him joining the Mavericks potentially. I've stated that I think he was a better fit for LA. So he's doing what's right, what's best for him. Mm-hmm. But just the way he handled it, man. And me,
I know,
if I lived in St. Louis, Missouri still, or New York or Wisconsin, wherever, wherever.
Right.
I wouldn't care, but I'm a Dallas Texan.
It hurts.
And we're the team, like we have the dudes like Rondo quit on us. Lamar Odom comes here and stays in the W Hotel and just half-asses his, we're better than that. The Dallas Mavericks have won a championship.
Right.
They have Dirk Nowitzki, the best European player ever, period. I mean, we're better than that as a city and a team.
Right.
And
it rubbed you the wrong way.
Long story short, it pissed me off.
It rubbed you the wrong way.
It pissed me off. Like,
well, hey, man,
dude, really?
I know, man. Well, I think it pissed off a lot of people. But what I am gonna do is I'm gonna ask Sigmund to chime in on that, because I know Sigmund's been chomping at the bits to get at this one. So, Sig, knock us out with this one, man. What you think?
Jack, I'm gonna sum it up for you like this, man. DeAndre Jordan went wrong for one reason. He just should have called Mark Cuban and said, "Man, look here, I'm having a change of heart. I'm going to go back home to the Clippers. I'm comfortable there. I know my teammates. I got friends there. I'm comfortable with the coach. I know the system." That's all he had to do, was reach out and say, "I'm going to reconsider my offer, and I'm going to go back home to the Clippers." If he does that, all the pressure's off of him as far as the way people in this city are reacting.
Word up.
That's all he had to do. But the simple fact that he didn't do that, see, now we got our feelings hurt in Dallas. Everybody's so pissed off. Even if he does that, he's still not a Maverick.
Right.
You still have to, go find some other center or, revamp the organization at this point. You got to look elsewhere, option B, option C, because the guy he's not going to be a Maverick. Mark Cuban, we're failing to realize it's him, Nobody wants to come play here. We can't get any big-time free agents to come to this city, man. From Dwight Howard to Chris Bosh to Aldridge, Darren Williams 3 years ago when he was still healthy and one of the top guards in the league.
All-Star Darren Williams.
They did not want to come here and play. Man, that's Mark Cuban. That's Cuban. Chandler Parsons, as far as he's concerned, hey, man, dude, you're a 14, 15-point scorer a game. You out here talking crazy about DeAndre Jordan. Man, who are you? You ain't nobody. You ain't done nothing in this league. Man, DeAndre Jordan led the league in rebounding, shot 71% from the field, 2.5 blocks a game. He can ball. Chandler Parsons ain't done shit. So for him to act like he's out here telling everybody publicly that, Jordan's afraid to be the man in Dallas. No, he's not. He just went back to a place where he's comfortable playing. He handled it the wrong way. It was immature of him, sure. But the fact that he's going back to L.A., what would you do, guys? Here's a question. You get a new job. You haven't signed the contract yet. It's a great job. They're going to give you what you want, benefits, health care. But you got this other job that you've already done that's willing to pay you the same thing and a little bit more in a city you already live in.
$28 million more.
$28 million more. What would you do? Seriously, think about it. That's a no-brainer. I'm going back home where I'm comfortable. That's where I'm going to go. So the only thing I fault Jordan on is just pick up the phone. Hey, Mr. Cuban, I'm having a change of heart. I'm going to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Other than that, hey, man, leave it alone.
Yeah.
He's not a Dallas Maverick. Let's move on, folks. It's a business. Just like you said, Jack, owners do it all the time. They will sign you and cut you tomorrow.
Yeah.
They won't even give you a phone call. You'll look on ESPN and see you're on a
That's
new
where your
team.
name's
Yes,
at.
sir.
That's right.
So what's the
Sign out
difference?
from TV. Yes,
When
sir.
a player does it. He didn't sign no contract. We're talking when guys have actually signed contracts. That's even worse. When the owners do it. Jordan hadn't put his name on nothing. That's not till July 15th.
I knew it was a little something fishy to that whole scenario, Sig, with the DeAndre Jordan, and then his teammates flying down to Houston and blah. And keep in mind when they had that last meeting when Doc and them guys when they had that last meeting with the owner, Clippers owner.
Right.
Keep in mind, DeAndre's agent was not in that meeting.
Right.
They kept that from him.
Closed door. Yep.
And I mean, we're talking about professional sports here, and you're in a room negotiating. Someone's trying to waiver you one way or the
Your
other.
money maker is not
and your,
there.
and your agent is not
Right.
even
He's
there.
most responsible for the money you make.
I knew something was fishy with that whole scenario, man. It just never seemed right. But I got my boy Ice B over here, our special guest tonight.
Yeah.
What is your take on that whole DeAndre Jordan? 'Cause I know you kind of had mixed feelings about it as well.
Right. First of all, I definitely got to say again, man, it's definitely a pleasure to be here. I appreciate y'all.
Right on,
Thank you
brother.
for coming,
Appreciate it.
man.
Appreciate
I read it.
Yeah, man. My whole thing about it is, it's a business. So like you said, there was no ink. There was no ink. So you can't be mad at that. You can't be mad at the way he handled it.
Right.
But you can't be mad at the business. I tell you what. If the same thing would have happened to Aldridge, and we would have switched it up real quick, it'd have been a whole different story. So that's my number one thing. My second thing is who I'm really mad at is the Mavericks. This is a classic put all of your eggs in one basket type of situation.
Yes, they always do.
And they always do it.
They always do.
And
Real
it
talk,
always
real talk,
comes
real talk.
back and kick them in the ass.
Yep.
This is a classic case. There ain't nothing changed. This is, you put all your eggs for DeAndre, and he dips it.
Yeah.
And it's horrible. But why wouldn't we in the draft? What my thing is, why weren't we in the draft pool thing? Like let's go get us some draft picks. Why we gotta put all of our it don't even make basketball sense for DeAndre Jordan to leave the Clippers.
It never
no
did
sense
to
at
me.
all.
It never did to me. Ice B. Like 2 weeks ago, I said on the show, to me, for what he does, what his talent is, it's better for him to stay there. I said that 2 weeks ago. I agree with
Well,
you.
the Clippers is just a better team.
Right.
Again, guys, keep in mind those guys were one game away from going to the NBA Finals.
Mhm.
So and they were up 3-1.
3-1 in the series.
and wind up just kind of squashing the series. But that team is already there. So I mean, you got a good point there.
And I just got one more thing. You know what? If you so easily persuaded if you so easily swayed like that, then you know what? We don't want you in Dallas. How about that? If somebody
He's mentally weak, yeah,
you
he's
know
weak
what I'm saying?
mentally.
If you that mentally weak, we don't want you in Dallas. You know what I'm saying? We don't want you on the court when it's fourth quarter. It's about 2 minutes left. You know what I'm saying? We need somebody that's mentally strong. We don't need no in the 11th hour. Let's cancel out on somebody that we verbally had an agreement with. We don't need you on the.
But even with that though, Ice B, now I gotta jump to the defense of DeAndre Jordan. I can't call the man mentally weak, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because again, let's go back to the very beginning of this. This is an agreement that we're talking about. That his agent, listen to what I said. His agent made this deal with the Mavericks, not DeAndre Jordan. His agent made this move with them, with the Mavericks. It wasn't DeAndre Jordan. So I don't know if I really want to call. As I mentioned before, I just think the young buck. He's a young guy. Right. As Sig mentioned, he's very immature the way he handled it, and it's just. I just think it was a guy, man, that was kind of being pulled in all different directions. And like you said, from a basketball sense, it just never made sense really to leave the Clippers and come to Dallas. And I'm a Maverick fan. But I mean, honestly, really, what were we offering DeAndre Jordan here other than playing alongside Chandler Parsons?
I'm saying we trying to do stuff that he can't even do anyway. Outside of goddamn 3, 4, 5 feet from the basket, he ain't even valuable anyway.
It's garbage. Yeah.
But you
He's a
are
dunker.
right in one
dunker.
thing. I will say this as a Texan, as Reed mentioned, amen. We only want people in Dallas that want to be in Dallas. I definitely agree with that. And if DeAndre didn't want to be here, amen, more power to him on that. But Reed, you want to chime in on that? You had something to say on that one?
No, I'm good.
What about you, Sig?
Yeah, we're failing to realize too the reason that I think, and this is a rumor that I heard, several times, the reason why he even thought about leaving the Clippers in the first place was the Chris Paul saga.
Mm-hmm.
They were butting heads in the locker room.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't stand each other.
Mm-hmm.
I think that closed door meeting that they had in the last hour down here in Houston at his home, they kind of hashed out that situation. They had to
things
smooth that
over.
out because that's the only reason DeAndre Jordan was even thinking about leaving in the first place. So once they got that taken care of, I think he was like, you know what, I want to come back home to play with my boys, and I just don't fault him for that, man. I can't.
That takes me back to how mentally weak he is. DeAndre, you're 7'1", 280. You jump out the gym, and your butt hurt because Chris Paul's not even 6 foot ass is hurting your feelings. He won't high five you after you make a good play. Like, really?
Now, see, let's don't minimize it.
Come
That's
on,
not.
dude.
I mean, he didn't say that.
Come
He
on,
just
dude.
When they
said.
go at it, it's getting good.
I mean, we're minimizing him
Man
now.
up,
I mean, he's
dude.
not a
Man
mental.
up.
He's not a mental midget.
He is
It's-
sick.
No, he's not, man.
Sick. I love you.
He just
love you.
did not want to come back. He didn't want to leave the Clippers. And so Mavericks were kind of a way out for him, but they got it handled. Situations they had in the locker room. I mean, that's across the league. Players don't get along.
I'm gonna throw it out here like this. I'm just gonna leave it out there. It's one of the last thing I want to say about it. Lamar Odom, the Lamar Odom factor. When you don't want to play for a team, or even Rondo, when you don't want to play for a team, look what happens.
Yeah, but DeAndre Jordan didn't play here, so we can't put him in that category.
That is true. But
Those guys were on the floor.
that is true. But
DeAndre Jordan, all he did was say, "Yeah, I want to become a Maverick." Man, that's all he did.
Well, he also
He didn't put on the
taking it
Mavs
back-
jersey.
Taking it back to the agent, here's how the sports game works. DeAndre Jordan's agent didn't take it upon himself to say DeAndre is committed to the Mavs. DeAndre Jordan told his agent,
I'm sure he did.
Agreed.
I'm committed to playing with the Mavs.
Agreed.
I'm going to sign this
I'm
contract.
sure he did. I was in the room, but I agree, Reed.
So-
I'm sure he did.
We can blame the agent, but the agent works for him.
Right. That's just to take the heat off
DeAndre
of Jordan.
said, I'm going to play for the Mavs for this 4 or 5 year, whatever $1 million deal it was.
Mm-hmm.
And then DeAndre Jordan changed his mind. Like,
okay,
It was-
I'm
it was-
sorry. I know I said I was gonna say this last thing, but you know what? That's exactly my thing right there. I think that is some little girl shit right there. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Just say,
right.
hey, you know what? That's just like me saying, bro, I'm going back to DFWI radio. I'm going back to DFWI radio. Well, I'm going back. Fuck that. And then you know what I'm saying? I tell them I'm coming, and then I'm only leaving because I got a problem with somebody over there or something. And then at the last hour, I finally get their attention. And now, you know what I'm saying? Okay, so everything's all hunky-dory. Okay, well, I'm back now. That's little girl stuff. You begging for attention.
He's an attention whore. He's an attention whore.
I didn't want to say
Nigga
that.
can pause. He
I
can
didn't
pause.
wanna
He can
say
pause. He
that.
can pause.
Fellas,
He can
I didn't
pause.
want to say
I have to
that.
He's an
disagree.
attention whore.
What y'all are failing to realize, this is a business. This is a business. See, y'all are thinking as fans.
You right.
See, you're thinking with your heart.
With your
Of
person,
course.
with
Man,
personal
we're thinking
feelings.
that's that man's career. This is his money, where he's comfortable. DeAndre Jordan is the only one looking out for DeAndre Jordan. He's got to look out for himself. Mark Cuban ain't doing it. Chandler Parsons ain't doing it, clearly. They talking bad about him now.
Yeah.
But last week, they loved him, right?
Right. Yeah.
Why'd they love him? Because he was going to be a Maverick. Now, all of a sudden, he's the devil. He's a pariah now. So that man's looking out for his best interest, and I don't blame him one bit. He should have called the man and said, I have a change of heart, period. That's it. Other than that, man, let DeAndre Jordan do what's best for DeAndre Jordan.
JB, I want to ask you because I don't want to leave you out the conversation. I do want.
Right, what's your opinion?
I want. I
What's
want.
your
I
opinion,
want.
Mr.
I want.
Hudson?
I want to ask you a different question. What do you think about the apology that he gave?
The apology, as just someone reading social media. First of all, I don't think DeAndre is the one who typed that apology up. First of all, I really don't.
His agent probably typed it.
Somebody else typed that up. I mean, because technically they said that DeAndre went on a cruise or on some vacation right after he signed with the Clippers or whatnot. So, I don't know, man. I'm glad an apology came out to the fans and to Mark Cuban and whatnot.
He had to do
Because
that to save face. He
It's,
had to.
and again, I'm gonna respect that part of it, but deep down, do I? Now I'm again, as Sig mentioned, I'm going with my heart here. I just kind of feel like it was a little knife kind of dug in us as fans, man, because we thought that guy was coming here, and and again, like you stated before, Ice B, that hey man, it's one of those things that we always put our little old marbles in one basket, man, and then the Mavericks just can't never seem to overcome, those decisions and stuff
When
that
there's
they
a
make
roadblock.
by doing that type of stuff, man, and it's like a trendsetter. It goes over and over. I mean, it just keeps going. But hey, man, the man put on social media. He was apologizing to the city. He was apologizing to Mark Cuban. So hey, on the cool, all we can do is just say, hey, man, respect that. Good luck on your season next year, man.
I agree. And Jack, like Reed was saying earlier, when he said that the agent was the one that kind of put it out there because he works for DeAndre, maybe he did write the speech. That's the agent's job. And then put it out there for his client. Mark Cuban didn't even accept the apology. Did you see his tweet?
I saw his tweet.
What was it? What was it? I didn't see that.
He didn't even accept the apology.
He's talking that DeAndre Who type stuff right now in his interviews. He's not. He don't even know who that guy is.
He wouldn't even say his name.
He don't know who that
He's
guy
like
is.
a mad female.
He's like,
Yeah,
who?
right,
Huh?
right.
Yeah, he's upset. needless to say.
Scorned woman now. I mean, hey, come on, man. The man apologized. Move on. Get over it.
I think it's one of those things, man. Cuban goes to Houston and can't get to this dude's, and I heard his little interview. He said he texted DeAndre Jordan. Now, mind you, we know the Clippers is in his house.
Right.
We know
They're there.
Blake Griffin is
There,
posting
playing dominoes,
chairs.
JJ
all this.
Redick.
He's
Right.
posting it.
Right.
So we know the Clippers is in his house.
Right.
But he's, Cuban is trying to, holler at him through text message, and, he's responding to some texts and not responding to other texts and certain questions that Cuban may ask him or whatnot. But DeAndre tells Cuban, hey, I'm out on a date. When he first texted him and said, hey, I'm at your front door, I'm at your residence. DeAndre texts him back and said, hey, I'm out on a date. Now, again, your teammates is posting all this shit on social media that they in the house. You know what I'm saying? But you're responding to Cuban through text message and saying that you're out on a date.
Yeah,
so
that's messed
So
up.
Cuban's, we got to kind of see what Cuban's, he got kind of,
Mentally weak.
well, if it's true now, that's just what Cuban said happened. He's telling his side of the story, and that's his side of the story. Now I don't know. Again, I wasn't there. I didn't see the text messages or whatnot. But apparently, Cuban says, "Okay, with DeAndre, have a good time." You know what I'm saying? And he, responds back, thanks, whatnot. And then Cuban says, well, okay, well, let me spice your date up for you. Let me take you and your date, whoever you with. Let me fly y'all to Dallas right now, and let's really show her, that date a good time. That's what Cuban. Well, he gets no response from, after that. All the contact, no response. Never comes back. So again, for Cuban to be acting the way he's acting right now, I kind of give him a. I'm gonna give him a pass right now.
He's being Dan Gilbert
but
right now, though,
yes,
which ain't good.
but you're gonna have to get over it.
Right.
You're gonna have to get over it and move on. And with that being said, and Sig, help me with this guy's name, the center that they brought in. I know he's a second, third tier.
Zaza Pachulia.
Zaza Pachulia. They brought him in. Hey man, he's another big body. At this point, which direction the Mavericks really can go? At this point, they got to kind of get what they feel the best out there. I think Sigma mentioned something the other day about, maybe, going after the Sanders guy that used to play for Milwaukee, who's
Larry Sanders.
Larry Sanders.
If he can pass a drug test.
But he don't know. But again, that's just somebody that can be out there. We possibly could be hearing maybe some Odom.
Greg
maybe
Oden.
Greg Odom coming in for some workouts. But think about it.
You got a roster
Reed,
fill.
they got about 5-6 slots to fill on their NBA
See,
roster.
you're 6'4", 6'3.5", 6'4".
6'4".
Had hip replacement.
Yes.
I would trust you at center more than I would trust Greg Oden at center in the NBA. And I'm not saying that to be funny either. I'm not saying that to be funny either.
Well,
The
with
Mavs will be, bottom line, they're going to be a lottery team. Chandler Parsons is still recovering from microfracture surgery,
Yes, he is.
which players
Good
don't.
point.
It usually takes a year
Or more.
plus to get back to who you were.
Matthews recovering
Matthews
also.
had ACL surgery, right?
Yeah.
So these dudes may not even be
Achilles.
healthy at the beginning of the season.
Darren Williams.
Darren Williams has been injury prone.
Dude, I texted y'all earlier this week. I'm 35 games is going to be a stretch.
30 to 35.
But you know what?
games?
Hey,
And they're in the Western
I'm cool
Conference,
with it.
ISB. They're in the
But
West.
I'm fine
You're
with
in-
that,
you're
Reed.
in the- you're in the-
I just
because I want to pick
But here's the
second or
thing.
third in the lottery.
Right. You need to go all. You need to
Yeah,
suck
that's kinda what
horribly.
you-
If you're not gonna win a championship, then suck horribly.
Yeah.
That's my thing. When even if you do tank, the Mavericks don't have a history of going to going to draft these college players and stuff like that.
When you're picking in the lottery, they will. When they're
They
picking
got
like
Jason
19th
Kidd
and
was like the
20th.
third pick or second
Yeah.
pick. No, he was
Second
the second
pick.
pick. Grant Hill and Jason Kidd.
Devin Harris was a high pick. And they
Okay.
got him out of
You
Wisconsin.
got to suck real bad.
That's what.
Plus,
and,
Boston has their pick.
and then on top of that, it's gonna be hard to suck real bad because you got Dirk Nowitzki, you got his legacy that you got to think about. He not trying to lose that many games. I guarantee you, he's at the end of his.
Well,
career.
regardless if he's trying or not,
he's 38.
When you're
ain't gonna
37,
matter.
38 years old,
Yeah.
you can't do it.
No.
You're right.
No.
He's not the Dirk.
So
of
we're not
2011.
worried about a legacy. That's already there.
You
Yeah.
think that's
The
cemented
Mavericks
already?
are going to, like Reed said, 30 to 35 wins.
They're gonna
Let's
tank.
man,
They're
let's
gonna
tank, man, so we can
And
draft
in the
young
West,
players.
in the West, 50
West-
games don't always get you to the playoffs.
And the West
in
is
the
going to be
West.
strong. The
You're
only
right.
team going backwards is Portland.
Yeah.
Outside of us, Phoenix is
Lakers.
upgraded. Oklahoma City's back. The Spurs, I mean, they're probably going to be number one in the West.
Let me just say this. I don't know about 30 to 35 games, but I can tell you this. Mavericks definitely not getting to the playoffs.
Well, yeah, there's no chance. No chance.
Good.
No chance.
Good.
Unless something dramatic
Yeah.
happens from this show to next show, yeah, there's no chance.
Because we
they're
finished
making
8th in the
playoffs.
West. Guess who we get? The Spurs or Golden State.
Yeah.
So
And then you get swept.
We get swept.
Yeah, period. Point
Then we're
blank.
picking, 16th or 17th in the draft.
Well, I'm kind of glad we moved to that direction because what I was going to bring up is, kind of what we're hearing now is, we got the big center that's in here now that we just got to work with what we're working with. They are, Darren Williams, they picking him up off of waivers. Darren is coming home. I know, me personally, I would have loved a Darren Williams three years
4
ago.
years ago when it mattered.
In opposed to the Darren Williams now. But even with that being said, I know D Will gonna come home and he gonna play with some pride. He's playing on a 2-year deal, $10 million. A lot of people, and speaking of the money or the financial point in that too, a lot of people is kind of giggly about the fact that he got a 2-year, $10 million deal. But honestly and truly, if you guys look at the semantics of all that stuff, that's actually not a bad move for D. Will. Plus, with the cap space expanding next year, hey man, let's just hypothetically speak, say D. Will come in here and play like that all-star, stay healthy, and play like that all-star D. Will that we accustomed to seeing 3 years ago. He comes in and have one of those type seasons.
Right.
Hey man, then he's gonna put his name back out there to make that big bucks, in the next year or two. So I don't think the 2-year, $10 million deal really was a bad deal. If we can get him in here and Darren can stay healthy, I know the boy gonna play with some pride. He's coming home. Why not? You know what I'm saying? He's gonna play. Again, I don't know what his injury is gonna hold up being. I don't know what his locker room antics are like, but we'll soon see. See what you think about the addition of Darren Williams possibly coming in here.
Jack, I like it. 2-year, $10 million deal. It's a bargain as far as the Mavericks are concerned, but he took a buyout from the Nets. So he's going to get that money, plus the fact that he's getting $5 million from us. So with the money he got from the Nets in the buyout and the $5 million here, no state tax in Texas, he's still going to make the money he was pretty much going to make as
Anyway.
being a Net.
Anyway.
So he's not missing any money. So financially, Darren made a sound move for himself. But as far as the if he's healthy, like you said, if he comes in and he's healthy, gets back to that all-star status like we know he can do, then yeah, I mean it's great for him because the luxury tax, it's not going to affect us this year, but next year with the cap moving up, he can make more money by coming out here and having an all-star season like you were saying. I know him personally. I used to give his kid rides home from the rec center when he was a kid back before he even was in high school. So he's a good dude, but I've been hearing some things about him being a coach killer. That concerns me because Rick Carlisle, we know how he is.
Right.
Rick Carlisle, you butt heads with him, man, you're going to end up fighting in the locker room.
And
'cause
point
he's a hothead too.
and point guards too.
Point guard, right. And he's always clashed with those guys. Rick Carlisle's an ex-player, and now he's a coach. So he's not going to just take any shit from you. So because Darren fought with Jerry Sloan, he fought with Jason Kidd, he's fought with Lionel Hollins. They had to be separated, him and Lionel Hollins, up in New Jersey. All he said to the guy was, hey, man, we need you to be more aggressive. Darren Williams went off in the locker room. They had to be separated. So stuff like that, we don't need that here in Dallas. But that's what you get. You get the good and the good with the bad.
Good with the bad.
Good with the bad. So you got to take the pros and the cons of any player.
Reed, I know you've been around the circuit a while. You and I both used to go to some games back. Well, I tried to get you to go to some games with me back when Darren's was here at the Colony High School when he was a teammates with Bracy Wright over there. I was begging you to go to those games, but I know since that time you've been peeping Darren in his career. What do you think about the move that the Mavericks is making and with the possibility of bringing Darren Williams in here?
I like it. I mean, it won't affect the Mavs' playoff chances. I definitely regret not taking you up on your sports invite, checking him out. Darren was the pudgy dude on the team back then. And the Colony, that was Bracy Wright's team. Darren was kind of the other guy, which a lot of people don't remember.
Yeah,
but obviously, the way his career has played out, I mean, what was he, number 3 in the draft?
Went to Illinois
4 or 5 years ago. People would say either him or Chris Paul was the best point guard in the league. So Darren Williams can ball.
He can ball.
Agreed.
He can ball. So he will help the Mavericks. To Sig's point, he's burned bridges where he's been. He's not always played up to the level of hype or potential that he has. So I'm thinking, especially playing in his home city, he kind of recognizes, like, this is it. Like, hey, put your best foot forward. It has to happen here. Because the worst thing you want is people in your home city talking shit about you.
Right.
Or, your kids got to go to school.
Oh,
And
man.
little Joey over there in class with your daughter talking about how your dad sucked last night.
Yeah.
You don't want that.
Right.
So the Mavericks will get a better version of Darren Williams than the Nets got.
Agreed.
Think
I
so?
agree.
Agree with that.
I think so.
Yeah. Now, does that mean all-star caliber? I'm not gonna say that, but he'll put forth more effort and he'll be better than he's been for the Nets. I'm not sure he was all in with the Nets.
Ice B, what you think, Ice B? What you thinking? What's on your mind?
That what you just said right there. You don't think he was out there wholeheartedly with the Nets? You know,
No, I don't.
I the Mavericks. I don't know what it is about them, but they have some kind of problem with getting. They have a characteristic problem. You know, they can't pick out players with good characteristics. You know what I mean? Like good example. Tyson Chandler,
Great dude.
great
Good
dude.
teammate. Yeah. No
Great.
one ever has a bad word to say about him.
Can't really get any better.
Right.
Let him go twice.
Yeah.
Twice. Then you go, but you backdoor that with going to pick up the coach killer. Bad characteristic. You know, that's a horrible characteristic. You know, nobody wants to be out there. You know, what Rondo. You know, Carlisle clashes with point guards. He's the coach killer. I don't see anything good coming out of this situation. I am not taking nothing away from Darren Williams. Ball. You don't make the USA team not balling.
Right. He is an Olympic gold medalist.
Olympic gold medalist. Let's not take nothing away from him. But it's the characteristics. Rondo, bad characteristic choice. Lamar Odom, bad characteristic choice. You know, I don't know what it is, but
Well, the Odom deal, I mean, you can't really say that initially because Odom never quit anywhere else he was at. He didn't have any problems in L.A. and either with the Clippers either. Either L.A. team, he didn't have any problems there. He just was all in his feelings when he had to come to Dallas because he didn't want to leave L.A.
right.
His wife didn't want him to leave L.A. either. That's why they were staying up in that little suite up there downtown.
The W.
The
Hotel.
W,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
The Kardashian, she didn't want to be here either. So that's why he was trying to make them trade him by not playing.
Right. I just think let's get let's do better. Mavericks all the way around. Let's get in here and let's do better. You know, Wes Matthews was an okay move. But let's do better. You know, y'all are out here disappointing a lot of fans out here. Let's do better.
I feel like with Darren, I see what you're saying, Ice B, but Darren is from here. Like I said, it's harder to, because here in your city, you got like people know you, knew you before you was even all that,
Right.
and then they got your cell phone number, and they're gonna text you when you have a shitty game, and when you don't hit them back, they're gonna keep texting you. You know, they're gonna keep it real with you.
Right.
That's what Darren Williams is gonna get here. Now, maybe you could be right. Maybe he won't respond well to that. But I'm, we'll see. I'm not Nostradamus, but I don't think I think he'll play better with Dallas than he's played with Brooklyn.
Jack B, I say let's revisit this as you know what I'm saying, a good 2, 3, 4 weeks into the season. Let's revisit this and see. Yeah. Let's revisit this and see how it go. I think it's a okay move. You know, but it's not
it's an okay move. It ain't no right.
Yeah.
They still won't make the playoffs.
Right. That's my thing. Let's make some moves to get to the
Right.
playoffs.
No, you're right.
Jack B, that's my number one thing about the Mavericks right there. For everything I said about characteristics, let's make some moves to get us to the playoffs and get us a championship.
Well, I still think, without us not being able to land, some of the point guards that we was actually targeting, and to somehow last minute able to will Darren Williams in here, I'll take that as a Maverick fan. I mean, I really would. I'm just hoping and praying the guy stay healthy. Obviously, if he stay healthy, then he gonna do some things.
Yes, sir.
And if
It
we
could
can
potentially
get
be
that
the
boy to
best
play,
move.
yeah. If we, and as Reed mentioned, I mean, just 2-3 years ago, man, we was mentioning this dude as possibly one of the best point guards with Chris Paul and
Absolutely.
and those guys. He was talking in those ranks just a few years ago. So again, before all those chronic injuries he's had over the last few years, obviously slowed him down. But hey, I like the move. Again, I definitely think he's gonna come and play with a chip on his shoulder. He's coming home. As I mentioned before, and like Reed say, I definitely think we're gonna get a better Darren Williams than what New Jersey,
I agree with that.
possibly even what Brooklyn got. I just think so. we'll see what happens. And again, like Ice B said, we're gonna revisit it. I mean, again, we got all this stuff coming up here this season, so we're gonna definitely keep the focus on that. Now, with that being said, that's kind of shifted over a little bit, guys, and go over to the NFL and talk a little Cowboy talk. Obviously, we got Cowboy fans in here. I know on the panel, anyways. Let's get right into it, man. Let's get to some these suspensions. You got to be very, very, very pleased with this Greg Hardy news that we received from that 10-game suspension now being dropped
To
or
4?
lifted to 4 games.
4 games. Okay.
And I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I mentioned it a few weeks back that I didn't think the 10 games would actually stand. I never thought the 10 games would stand. I don't even believe Jerry ever thought the 10 games would stand because I don't think he'd ever spent the money and wasted time on this guy bringing him in, even though he was the beast that he is. But it just didn't look good. Again, we were talking about a guy that charges was dropped. He set out the entire season last year. Now, he got paid, but he didn't play a game last season. So the suspension with the charges and things, it's like the case never even it never happened.
Right.
Everything was completely vanished. So I just didn't see a very stiff 10-game suspension being the last results to that. So I'm very, very thrilled and very pleased the fact that the NFL did get that right and chop that down to 4 games. And again, we got to play those first 4 games without the guy. But look at it this way: we got 12 games after that with the guy. So again, like you always say, we got to take the the good with the bad. But I like it. He'll be coming back right when it's time for Tom Brady and the New England Patriots, which will be perfect in my opinion. Hey man, the Cowboys got a stiff schedule. I don't know if y'all looked at it, but it's stiff. They got a very, very stiff schedule this year.
Yes, sir.
And they got some some obstacles they got to climb too. Keep in mind this team went 8-0 last year on the road. So it's going look at their road games. That's all I'm gonna say. Go take a look at their road games this year and see. It's real stiff,
We
man.
get New England here, but still,
Yeah.
you're right. It's gonna be a big challenge.
It's gonna be a big challenge, man. And I'm just again I'm just in ecstatic that we get him back for when Tom Brady comes in, who's arguably one of the best in the league. So when he comes to town, we'll have him back, and with the extra juice on that, we'll have Rolando McClain as well coming off his suspension because he'll be sitting out the first 4 games with his drug suspension and things like that. So the defense should definitely get a nice big present that week 5 after the first 4 games. Reed, I'm gonna let you chime in on it, man. When you heard the news that that Greg Harden would be, his suspension was lifted and was knocked down from 10 to 4, what was your first initial thoughts and your reaction on it? I know as a fan you were happy, but what was your thoughts on that?
I was like, hell yeah. I mean, he got 6 games chipped off of his initial suspension. Now, to be clear, I have no doubt he did what he's been accused of. But people that are criticizing, like the female rights groups and people that are criticizing the NFL, they have to realize the NFL can't suspend him for something that he hasn't been proven guilty of doing.
Right.
Good, bad, otherwise, the female that he did or did not put his hands on and throw on a couch with machine guns on, she dropped the charges. So the case itself never went to court.
Right.
So with the Ray Rice video, people are rightfully up in arms about domestic violence. I mean, dudes shouldn't put their hands on women. Period.
Right.
I I got all 3 of my kids are daughters.
Right.
Hell no. Put your hand on one of mine, it's on. So I don't agree, I don't condone domestic violence at all. However, when you're talking about suspending a man, taking money from him, you have to have proof. When old girl, she should have probably followed through with it, but who knows? Greg Hardy may have paid her off more than she would have gotten. We don't know.
He did.
I can't disagree with you, Sig. But it's an individual case. If whatever he paid her was enough for her to make her drop it, everybody else should drop it. Everybody else should drop it.
Yeah.
So let it go. So on that note, as you said, Jack, did he play at all last season or 1 or 2 games?
No.
So from the NFL standpoint, back to my point, he already sat out all last season.
Right. Right.
And they were going to suspend him 10 games. But at the end of the day, what was he found guilty of? Nothing.
And,
Nothing.
And you know what? That's kind of my thing. You know, I'm really, me personally, you know, I'm from Dallas. I'm not the biggest Cowboy fan, let me say that. But I am from Dallas, so I definitely hate being the laughing stock of whatever organization that we in. The NFL, they don't know whether they coming or going, if you ask me. Goodell, you know, that's all I'm going. Castro Goodell, or however they call it. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know if he's coming or going. If he did not get, there was no video.
Right.
The charges are outlandish. You threw me on a couch where I was full of machine guns. What do we do? Okay, first of all, what are we doing with machine guns on the couch? We know machine guns don't belong on the couch. Well, you know what I'm saying? It's the charges that are kind of sketchy. You know what I mean?
Greg Hardy is batshit crazy, though.
That
He calls
is-
himself the Kraken. Have you seen the eye makeup? And this
Yeah,
dude is like
yeah.
out. He's out there.
He's a different specimen.
That
That's for
motherfucker's
sure.
out there.
He's different.
Where is the?
I wouldn't even want to interview him. Like, hell no. If the Law Show interviews Greg Hardy, I won't be there that week.
Reed's line. Sig, help, hey man, help.
For
When
real,
you heard
man.
the news, what did you think? What did you think? Honestly, when you
Jack, I'm keep it as real as I can, man. I'm happy. I'm happy that we got, the 10 games reduced. I am. Roger Goodell, basically, he's saving face because he came out with a 10-game suspension to say, look, ladies, this is what I did. I gave him 10 games.
Right.
So you can't look at me like I didn't do anything regarding domestic violence. But we all knew that when his appeal came up, they were going to reduce to whatever, 2 to 4 games.
It should have been 2. I'm sorry. I hate to interrupt you, bro. I don't mean
Well-
to interrupt you. It should have been 2. It shouldn't have been 4. It shouldn't have been 10.
Nah, four is good enough.
You think
Four is
four
good
is
enough.
Four's
It
good,
is.
yeah.
when they throw
Because
10 at
Ice B, what you're failing to realize, man, and I'm stating my opinion, but I'm talking through experience now
Right.
from my profession. He did what they accused him of.
No doubt about it.
There's no doubt about it.
Right.
We don't need no damn video. Just like Reed said earlier, the man's a damn fool.
Right.
He's a fool.
Right.
He is. The girl wasn't lying about what happened. Now, he paid her off. They settled it, civilly out of, so criminal charges weren't
Right,
pressed.
right.
She didn't even show up for the criminal case because she'd already got the check she wanted. That's why it was dropped. The woman the complainant didn't even show up to the court case.
Right.
So they had to drop it. So that means there were no charges. It's like it never happened. But we know, as far as being football people and using common sense,
Right.
that this did happen.
Yeah.
This happened. So Greg
Right.
Hardy's lucky to get what he got. Because in the climate the NFL is going through right now with domestic violence, man, stop putting your hands on women.
Yeah.
It's that
That's the number
simple.
one thing.
Let's quit making
Yeah,
excuses for these
yeah,
guys.
That's the number one
Stop
thing.
doing it. Then your ass gets to play 16 games, possible playoff games. It's that simple, man. Stop doing dumb shit and then looking for somebody to get you out of it.
Yep, good point.
I heard his
It's that
agent
simple.
is trying to even get the 4 games reduced. And it's like, okay, look, bro.
Just
He's
pressing it a
he's
little
up
bit.
on that.
Yeah.
slow your roll.
You're going to make
player.
him go back
Like,
the other
Drew
way
Rosenhaus is
and end up
his
getting
agent.
8.
Right. And he's like, oh, well, I don't think this is just.
Right.
You know, I'm
It's
sorry. I hate to side with the agent on this, but you show me a video, or not even video. Let's not even go video. Show me pictures, of her being, when you get hit, you take
Man,
pictures
listen
of
to the
her.
911 call
And I heard
from the person upstairs that could hear what was going on in the apartment. That's who initially called 911 on Greg Hardy. Not the one, not his girlfriend.
Right.
Their neighbor called 911 and said she could hear everything that was going on in the apartment. That right there alone tells you, and this is a person that unrelated to either party.
Right.
They called 911.
Show me a video. Show me a picture. Show me something. We can go for a game.
See, now you're fixated because of
How
the
many
red
daughters
lights
you
deal.
got?
See, now you
How
got
many
to see
daughters you
video.
I am.
See, you live in that social media age. How old are you, Ice B?
30.
See,
many
you're a
daughters you
youngster,
got,
man.
Ice B?
You live in that social media age.
I got a daughter. I got one little girl. I got a boy. I got a boy. And you right. And I'm totally with you. You put your hands on my daughter, and it's
But what? You don't need to see video?
Right, so right.
So if it happens to your daughter?
Like, well, Mr. Ice B, show me a video of me putting my hands on your daughter.
Now we talking.
You ain't gonna
Just
wait for the
saying.
video. You ain't gonna wait for the video.
You right.
Just saying. Double standard.
You right.
Come on,
You
brother.
don't wait for the video.
You hear this from Triple D Ice B? I will take my everything that I
Lost
said about the
boys.
Hardy. I will take that back. You're absolutely right.
Lost boys, lost boys, lost boys. Hey man, we gonna keep it with the Cowboys. We gonna come back and we gonna revisit that as well because again, those suspensions was crucial around the league, man. As a fan, I was very very pleased to know that Harding got that reduced from 10 games to 4, and then putting in those ties with Rolando McClain coming in. At the same time, be coming off his 4-game suspension as well. Hey man, but we going to keep it because I know the show is getting short. We're getting short to close our time here soon. Let's keep it in Cowboy land, though, guys. Hey man, what is it? What's the date? The 12th of July.
Today is the 12th of July.
Hey man, Dez Bryant is still not signed. We got 3 days, guys.
3 days, 72 hours.
We got 3 days. Dez Bryant is still not signed, and I know people is getting, because I'm actually getting tired of hearing the saga. To be honest with you, either you're going to sign the dude or he's going to sign the franchise tag. Which one is going to be? And as of late, we were hearing that the Cowboys was kind of coming around and was possibly going to throw him a contract out there. I mentioned last week on this very show that what I had heard at some point that they were looking at about a 7-year deal for Dez. So again, nothing has taken place. But July the 15th is closely approaching. And arguably your best player on your team, bump all this suspension crap we're talking, your best player on your team is still not signed in Dez. Sig, how are you going to attack that, man? What do you think as a fan? What's your take on that one?
As a fan, I'm disappointed because he deserves to have a long-term deal because, he's arguably, if he's not 1A, he's 1B as far as the best receivers in the league.
In the game.
With Megatron.
Period.
But as just a football guy and knows about the business, I don't want Dez to miss any money if they don't give him a long-term deal. Sign the franchise tag, get your $13 million guaranteed because you just don't want to go from leaving $13 million on the table to $0. Right. That's just stupid in my opinion. Now, we do want to get the long-term deal done, but say they don't get it done. July 15th, he's got to sign that franchise tender to get his $13 million. They're going to revisit it. He'll have a great season, and he'll come back next year. They'll sign him again because you can do it 2 years.
Right.
They'll sign him to a franchise deal next year where he makes $15 million guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
So that's almost $29 million, man.
In 2 years.
Guaranteed money in 2 years. No questions asked.
No questions.
Money in the bank.
I'm with you.
So at that point, if Dez is still heartbroken because he didn't get a long-term deal, hey, man, go get your money in Carolina. Go get your money in Jacksonville. I hate to say it because I love Dez Bryant. Don't get me wrong. I'm a Cowboy fan all the way. But I know, man, it's a business. Like my boy Jack was saying earlier, Jerry Jones really ain't calling the shots no more because we know Jerry's history. He would already signed his kid. Mm-hmm. We know this. Yeah. With the history with Terrell Owens,
right.
Roy Williams, Joey Galloway. He rewards people. Even when they're not warranted, he'll still give them money. Mm-hmm. If you're going to sign anybody, Dez Bryant has deserved to get a deal. Man, he's got 41 touchdowns in 3 or 4 years, leading the league in that time. He puts up numbers, so he deserves everything he's about to get. It's not like he hasn't put up numbers and he's been hurt and, we don't know what he's going to do. He deserves it.
It's the thing about Dez Bryant, because I'm with you all the way. Get a man his money. It was a catch. The whole 9 yards. You know what I'm saying? Man is a complete beast out there. But is it that he wants to be the highest paid receiver? Is that what it is?
Reed, would you like to help him out on that?
Because I don't understand why we don't have a deal on the table.
From what I've heard, to answer your question, Ice B, he's still not. When Megatron is at his best, Megatron's the best in the league.
Right.
No receiver currently in the league deserves Megatron money. including Dez Bryant, who's my favorite football player currently.
Right.
What I'm hearing is, and let's think to the Denver Broncos and Demaryius Thomas. I'm hearing that both of them are purposely not making offers to Dez Bryant and to Demaryius Thomas just to lower their value. To lower their value. I heard that. They call it collusion. They're colluding together like, hey, look, you don't throw him no money. We won't, because they were both franchised.
Right.
Demaryius Thomas and Dez, they were both franchised. Neither of them have signed their franchise tender. Dez showed up the last day of OTAs. I don't think Demaryius did at all. So they're like in the same situation, and even their stats are very similar. Although Dez is better, just to me, he's done it longer. But the NFL, just their whole scheme is for such a violent sport. Anything beyond your signing bonus isn't guaranteed.
Yeah.
It'll say in the newspaper 7-year, $200 million deal, but they could cut your ass tomorrow. And all you got was the signing bonus.
Yeah.
But everybody's still thinking you got $200 million.
Yeah.
The player, the union. That's what I'm trying to say. The union.
Weak as hell.
It's weak as hell. Like NBA,
Weak as hell.
baseball.
Weak as hell.
These sports, these dudes, their money is guaranteed. Like, and football is the most popular sport in our country.
Reed, you know why I think that is? Because, okay, you think, like you said, let me ask you this. Who you think got the best union?
The NBA or probably baseball.
No,
Baseball.
Probably
Baseball.
And you want to know why I think they had the best union? It's because baseball players will sit the hell out.
Yep.
Sure will.
They will sit out.
Sure
for
will.
You have to
however-
prove your point.
You
have
gotta
to.
prove
You have
your
to.
point. You got to. That's why they have the best union. NFL, they ain't sitting out for nothing. Like
Nothing.
you said, they money not guaranteed, so they got to go out there and get that paycheck. So they not sitting out. That's the reason why I think the NFL has a very weak union.
It's a good point.
See, what you think on
NFL has they make the most money,
Right.
but have the worst union
Yes.
out of all the pro sports. But they make the most money.
Yeah.
So
By far.
So that's just idiotic to me. But see, when they go every 10 years, they go up for collective bargaining.
Yeah.
They have the worst representation, man. They settle for whatever they can because they want a paycheck every Monday.
Right.
See, what we fail to realize is if the NFL, like any other sport, like if they go on strike, man, these owners are still, they got businesses they run.
They chilling.
They own,
Cooling.
businesses and restaurants and, they own Home Depots and different things. So they still have places they make money at. These players sit out, they're scared that they won't be able to pay their bills. So they
Exactly.
just give in to whatever.
They got baby mamas.
Right. They got things that they got a
need
lifestyle they have to
support.
upkeep.
Right.
You got child support going 4 or 5 different ways. So they have to take that into consideration, man. The NFL is horrible when it comes to negotiating for contracts for players. Man, we all know their money should be guaranteed.
Right.
Just because of the simple fact, like Reed said, it's the most violent sport.
Violent sport in
Man,
the
they putting
game.
their lives on the line every day. It's a collision sport. That's what they do for a living. But then these guys can't get guaranteed money.
You get one of these crazy ass linebackers that hit you with the what was the little play they showed before a blindside, and they had Lawrence Taylor damn near twist the dude's head all the way around. You get some shit like that, bro, and it's over. 150, like the average NFL play ain't nothing but like 4-5 seconds.
That's it.
In 4-5 seconds, your whole life.
And to put the whole owner NFL player relationship in perspective, let's take it to Jason Pierre-Paul.
Well,
Let's take it there.
Great point, Reed.
Let's take it there.
Four
This-
finger paw. I'm sorry,
Right.
that was mean. That was mean. My bad. I'll take that back.
I mean, he was franchised also. They even negotiated a deal with him that he didn't like. Now, he's got to take some blame too. He left it on the table. I'm going to leave this here. I'm going to go do what I do for this weekend.
I'm gonna go to the 4th of July party.
Right. I'm gonna go do this. Then you blow your damn index finger off on your right hand. And as soon as that gets out, now the team is yanking the contract from you. And they probably gonna yank the franchise tag from him too.
Yeah.
Ain't getting a
The
3-point.
NFL is like Sig says it all the time. I'm more player oriented. Sig's more business. But I mean, I got to side with Sig on this one. Take care of your business, brothers. Take care of your business. Period.
Get your money.
Period.
I mean, if you're going to play and celebrate and party, make sure you sign on the dotted line before
right.
you do that.
You're gonna light fireworks, sign that contract.
Right. Pierre Paul was
$17 million
he
or
was
whatever
due
it was.
$15 or $16 million. Now he may not get any of it.
Nothing.
Playing with fireworks, man. Do you know how stupid that sounds?
Get you a $100,000 job somewhere in the office. You
Take
know
any
what I'm saying?
man in this room right now. It's almost 10 people in this room. And you do to make $16 million on July 15th. But you going on 4th of July to play with fireworks and blow your
I'm
finger
signing
off.
that shit.
Man, you better sign that contract before
Wait.
you go do anything.
And my wife would divorce me. My wife of 20 years would divorce me if she knew I had a contract of that value on the table and I just fucked it off.
I mean, what is he waiting on?
She would divorce me. Like,
Guaranteed dollars. That's guaranteed.
That's guaranteed money.
Franchise tag. That's one thing they did negotiate, to the players, benefit. That's guaranteed dollars. No matter what you do during the season, that money will be in the bank for you.
Yeah, my thing is, like you said, get your money. Let's be smart about the situation. Let's not be, you not that cool. You got the contract. You got the contract to where you like it. It ain't gonna be no more money added to it. The only thing it could do now is go downhill.
sure, right. And he was at that point.
You know what I'm
He
saying?
was at that point.
You got the pay. If it was me, I'd have been like, damn, is there any way I can fax this motherfucker in, or what can I do?
Get on a
Because-
plane and go sign it.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I will
those
fly-
youngsters just has to be. They got to be smarter than that. Bottom line, they got to be smarter than that.
You
Man.
have to
Like Sig and Reed is saying over there. Hey man, get your money. Take care of your business. Get your money. And it's as simple as that. But we're gonna keep. We're gonna definitely keep looking at that scenario, man. The next couple of days. Hopefully, when we come back next Sunday, we'll be able to talk a little bit more Dez Bryant and see if there was some type of conclusion. Obviously, it's, the 15th gonna be done past, so it's gonna be something one way or the other. So I'm sure we'll have some nice little gossip on that Dez Bryant issue as well. And one last thing here before we go, we're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna try to do a couple of quick shout outs real quick. Let's do a little quick shout out to our girl Serena Williams, man. She won again.
Yeah.
And she handled her business. And I'm gonna be honest with you, man. You gotta. Is it time to start saying she's the best ever? I mean, do you mention her with those ladies that Sigmund was mentioning earlier?
Oh, you mentioned her.
Yeah.
For sure.
Is she the new GOAT of women tennis? I mean, she's doing it, man.
I like the point that you made earlier when we was off air. I don't want to give her the best ever,
But definitely
but
the best in this generation.
our era. Yeah, definitely.
Hands down.
Definitely.
She's one behind Steffi Graf right now in majors. I grew up kind of watching it. Martina Navratilova, Steffi Graf. These ladies were dominant in their era too.
Yes.
Chris
Yes.
Evert Lloyd.
Yes.
But Serena Williams is right there with them, if not a notch above them. So yeah, she's mentioned right with the greats.
So one definitely want to give her a shout out on that, and then keeping it over to. Go ahead, Reed. I'm sorry.
To Sig's point, Chris Evert Lloyd is a commentator. She commentated women's tennis for Wimbledon on ESPN, up until it ended.
Mm-hmm.
She herself calls, and Chris Evert Lloyd, there's not 5 better women's tennis players than Chris Evert Lloyd.
Right.
She calls Serena Williams the best female player ever.
That says a lot, then. That
That
says
says
a
a
lot.
lot. It's tremendous.
If Chris Evert, if one of the top 5 ever says it, I'm gonna go ahead and take her word on that.
Well, that's a good point, Reed. And hey, if she's saying that, then it's definitely something that's I'm not out of character on that one as well.
Definitely.
So all props to Serena Williams, man. Hopefully she keep doing her thing. I do know the girl fine. Oh, man.
Yes, Lord.
Flat out.
Yes,
Boy,
Lord.
man.
She-
She ain't bad to look at.
I'm just gonna say this, and I don't know how y'all do. I know we all got on the situation, but thick thighs saves lives, and it definitely be giving me life.
Hey, man, but before we go, last thing we're going to touch on is that UFC fight last night.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, my boy Conor McGregor defeats Chad Mendes by TKO
Yeah.
for the interim featherweight title. Is he the new face of UFC? Reed, I'm kind of getting to your sports now with the fighting and boxing type thing. So is this guy who they say he is?
I love the notorious Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
Love him. Now, I'm going to say a name, but I'm not saying he's on that level yet. But first and foremost, he's from Ireland. Conor McGregor has an Muhammad Ali type vibe about him. To where he's talking it, he's walking it, he's predicting the rounds that he's going to take dudes out.
Right.
And in this particular instance, the dude he beat last night, 2 weeks ago, wasn't even the dude he was supposed to fight. Jose Aldo
The champion.
is called. It's the interim title because Jose Aldo pulled out
Hopefully
in the 11th hour.
Hopefully he can get his title shot in January.
So they put McGregor in, who was like the 3rd or 4th ranked dude,
Right.
in with
Chad Mendes.
Chad Mendes, a number 2 ranked dude who had 2 close fights with Aldo. Now, Mendes never been stopped, nothing. And I was at Hooters last night, getting my drink on, watching the fight. Mendes takes him down easily in round 1, hits him with a left elbow, cuts him up. The thing with McGregor, people always say, oh, he's never been tested. He's never fought a good wrestler. No one's ever pushed him to the limit. Last night, he was pushed to the limit, and he still won by KO. I had a dude shit-talking me at Hooters. I said, you know what? He was like, hey, let's bet a shot. Okay, let's bet a shot, whatever. Then I said, after the round, I said, you know what? I'm going to bet you McGregor will stop him before round 3. Let's bet another shot.
You won your shot.
Well, and here's the gangster part, Sig. I ain't even because I don't drink liquor like that. I'm a beer drinker.
Right.
So I walked out. As soon as he won, I'm out. Conor McGregor is the truth, dude. He's the truth. And he's only 26, 27. And in MMA, you can fight till 37, 40.
Right.
He's going to be – John Jones is the best fighter.
Yeah, he is. I was
But John Jones has got personal shit going on.
He got some issues.
He's got issues. Ronda Rousey is the biggest star right now, the
Right.
female.
Right.
I'm going to say it like this. Conor McGregor is going to become as big as Ronda Rousey is right now. That's how good he is.
See?
Reed touched on it. You know, I won't touch on it too much because I don't like the guy personally. I think he's just too cocky for me.
Come on,
I'm not really a UFC guy.
Come on,
I'm more of a natural boxing fan. You know, I'm gonna give him his props. You know, like I said, he got tested, and I watched the fight, and I also watched Keith Thurman last night. He got tested and came back and won his on a technical TKO. So I'm gonna give him the props. I'll say that. But as far as just really liking UFC, I'm not really a big fan. I just think that, man, it's just some guys that don't have a lot of skill can get in the ring. If you got toughness, you can take a punch. You can get a guy on the ground. You can wrestle a little bit. You can be a champion, really. I just like boxing. I think it's more of a sweet science, you know. So
science.
I'll give McGregor his props. He's a good fighter, but he's just too cocky for me, man.
All right, Reed, before we go, what you got?
I'm a boxing guy too, Sig. Boxing is even above basketball, Sig, which you know I love. Boxing is my favorite sport.
Right.
But there's no more pure form of fighting
Then boxing.
than MMA.
I mean, yeah, that's what I mean. Mixed martial arts.
Karate, jiu-jitsu, boxing, Muay Thai. Really, the only thing you can't do in MMA, you can't hit him in the nuts. You can't bite. You can't pull hair.
Right.
So it's the purest form of fighting. And you can't wear shoes, you know, or no clothes, or other than trunks, you can't wear clothing or shoes, and he can't wear it either. It's the purest form of fighting there is.
Yeah,
So,
I'll agree with you
wrestling,
there.
you
I'll
know,
agree with
like,
you there. They use all the
I'm a
discipline.
boxing dude. Boxing, and usually boxers do better in that because every MMA fight starts standing up. Like every fight, you ain't starting on the ground.
Right.
And most MMA dudes don't have good chins, and you're wearing them 4-ounce gloves.
Ooh.
So if you're in there with a boxer and you get caught, it's gonna be a short night.
Lights out.
Very
Lights
short
It's
night.
gonna be a short night.
Curtains.
Hey, man.
However, you don't want to get that you don't want to be that boxer and that wrestler dives at you and get you on the ground. Once you're on the ground, you're a boxer. It's a
wrap.
wrap. It's a wrap.
JP, can I say something real quick?
What you
my
got?
bad, my bad.
No, you good.
Before we get out, I don't know if we touched on this, you know what I'm saying, last week or something like that or anything, but I know y'all see me with the red, white, and blue. I just want to kind of send a special shout out to the women's soccer team.
Yeah.
I don't
Yes,
know
sir.
if y'all touched on that or not.
We did last
we
week.
did.
Yeah.
Okay,
We did.
okay,
We
but
did.
I just want
We
to. I
did.
watched that last game. That last game was legendary.
Yeah.
And I think that last game definitely proves that USA is definitely dominating, you know, if not all of the world sports, definitely at least soccer.
We getting there, man. We getting there. We did give our women a shout out.
So shout out
Sir.
to them, man.
Definitely good.
I just wanted to make
Ain't
sure
nothing
we get
wrong.
that out.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Just want a quick shout out, man. I want to give it up to my boys at Upper Iowa. They listening to us, man. I appreciate it. Clip, B, Audie,
Iowa, what's up?
Von Arts,
UIU.
Russ,
Yo.
Mike, Malcolm. Appreciate it, fellas. Glad y'all listening.
UIU Peacock.
Special shout out to
Stiffen
Laura
up, Cox.
Knutson, Lindsay Allen, Stephanie Stewart. Appreciate y'all listening. Love y'all. Appreciate
Man,
it.
and Sig remember these names without even writing them down.
All right, no, now just
Off
He
the
got
head,
some
he
love. Yeah.
freestyling.
Hey, so we shouting out to them Upper Iowa Peacocks in Iowa, man. Hey, thanks again for listening on the show. It's been another fabulous week. Weekend for us. The show was great. We coming back on the air again next week. You can always hit us up on stewtheworld.com and tune in at 8 o'clock on Sunday nights. We'll be back at same time, same place. And fellas, what time is it? Time to get what?
Lost.
You just lost one. 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 What a bomb bomb.